Hey everybody, this is Prophetess to you. And day, February 17th, I think it is. Sorry, February 8th or 18th. And today's topic is being bound to someone by God. So come on in and listen and enjoy this topic today. I just happened to be reading something just now, and it resonated with me because it's something that I'm doing or have done. And I guess I clarity on something, and he just gave it to me. So I wanted to share this with you about being bound by someone that God sends to you. So being bound. First of all, I guess I need to say that being bound to someone, I'm going to read this passage from this book, but and this is a passage from Pastor Jensen Frank, and I'm reading his book lately, and it just gives you some good insight to some things. But it says, when God binds you in the spirit, it is very difficult to leave because your spirit is tied to a place or a person. And it says, don't ever let your mind or emotions make you walk away from something to which God binds you in your spirit. Stay the course and don't quit. Don't give up because you might miss out on God's mighty plan. Now, this is actually a it truly resonates with me because I've been bound to someone, and I didn't understand why I was bound to that person. I didn't get it. I didn't understand until I was reading this book. That and the book is the right people, right place, right plan. Okay. And I didn't understand why I'm bound to certain people or certain people are bound to me in my life because it's God put them there. God is putting those people in my life. God is putting those because there's a purpose, there's a reason, there's a rhyme for everything that God does. And with that purpose, you we have a tendency to give up on things. We have a tendency to not take it seriously. We have a tendency, like it said, and it says if God is ordaining something, you cannot walk away from it because it is something that's bound in your spirit. Your spirits are connected. So I'm bound to certain people's spirits because there is work that needs to be done. So when I say being bound to someone, I have someone, uh, I've had someone, I should say, I've had someone that I was really tied to emotionally, physically, sometimes mentally. I was bound to this person. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand why this person is in my spirit, why this person is always in my heart, why this person, I'm like, and it just, I couldn't tie it together. And just reading this today just tied it all together for me because I'm like, I'm bound to that person, or I was bound to that person because of the simple fact that there is something greater there. There's something greater. The purpose is greater. So like if you're say like for instance you're bound to a lover, or you're bound to your husband or your wife or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and you try to break it off with them, and I'm not talking about abusive relationships or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you feel like you haven't been treated fairly or treated correctly, or you didn't get a phone call today, you didn't get a text message today, you didn't get flowers, you didn't get da 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 da. So there's all kinds of things that are going on emotionally in your head and all of this stuff. And so you feel that you're like, oh, I'm just gonna break it off because they don't care about me anyway, and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because you try, no matter what you try to do, you try to break that tie, but you can't quite break that tie, because it's so bound up in your spirit. Is like that person, no matter if you broke it off and said, I'm not gonna be with you no more, I'm done, we're finished. And and you find yourself like, I wonder what he's doing today, or I wonder what she's doing today. Maybe I should call, maybe I shouldn't call, maybe I should do this, maybe you've got like 50,000 things going on in your head about this person. And that's because sometimes you're spiritually bound to people. And when you're spiritually bound to them, it no matter what you cannot get that person out of your system. You cannot get that person out of your life. You'll break up with them, and then you end up coming right back to them. And you're just like, it's like a you're going like this. It's a tug of war. And the whole thing is you weren't supposed to break up with that person to begin with, because that was something that God has put together. That is divinely placed. You're divinely placed in that person's life for a reason. You're divinely placed. We'll say that one more time. You were divinely placed in that person's life. And there is in that in the life, but in their spirit. And so once God puts a spirit together, it is something that you should not run away from, which I'm finding out later on as I'm reading the book. I shouldn't have tried so hard to break up with that person. I shouldn't have tried so, it's just like sometimes you just got to let things ride out and take its course. Sometimes when there's divine, power in place, you're going to have to let things ride its course, and it will rectify itself in the end. It will transform before your eyes, because when God puts something together, can't nobody tear it apart. So that's what I'm saying about divine. It's a divine connection. Your spirits are bound to each other. You are spiritually bound to another person. You are spiritually bound to another thing. Like I get these unctions all the time about people that I haven't talked to in a while, and I'm just like, oh, okay, God, or that's because they're on my spirit. So I got to go to them and I got to say, hey, what's going on with you? I need to know because you're in my spirit, and I need to know what's going on. And so He does that to us all the time. He gives us those little unctions, and when you get those, you're actually supposed to respond back to them, because that is God is placing that person in your spirit. And when He places that person in your spirit, you have to check on them. Sometimes you have to check and see if they're okay. Maybe you need to pour into their life. Maybe you need to, you know I don't know, maybe you need to make amends if something is not right. Maybe, I don't know what the purpose of why they may be on your heart, but it's best for you to find out, not instead of just leaving that unction there, because you never know what could happen. Maybe that person, you were getting ready to talk that person from jumping off a cliff. Maybe you're getting ready to prevent that person from getting divorced. Maybe you're preventing that person. I don't know what it happens to be, but God will put that person in your spirit, and you're supposed to act upon it. You're not supposed to sit there and be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or and sometimes He can put it constantly in your spirit. Constant is It's a constant battle that you're fighting, and you're like, dang it, okay, you know what, just let me stop everything and let me just go ahead and do this. And so when that happens, you take heed to it. You pick up the phone or call that person, or you do whatever is in your heart. Maybe God is telling you to move somewhere, or maybe God is telling you to buy something, or maybe God is saying, this is the time for you to do what I've asked you to do. And you've put it off, and you've put it off, and now you can't delay anymore. I'm not allowing you to delay, because your spirit is bound with me. I'm going to bind my spirit to another person. So I challenge you that anything that you're bound to by God, anything that you're bound to, don't give up on it. Don't give up. Just stay in it. No matter how tough it gets sometimes, no matter, whatever it is, don't give up on it, especially if it's God ordained. If it's a God ordained thing, things will come to pass, things will change before your eyes, things will manifest themselves for glory. And especially if you are bound to another tie, if you have a tie with somebody, don't break that tie. Do not, I'm challenging you, do not break that tie. Again, write it out, see where it goes. Maybe sometimes you need to change instead of you thinking that they should change. So start working on self, start working on your mindset, start changing the things about you, and listening to God more, having that more discerning spirit, have a more discerning lifestyle. Because God challenges us, He speaks to us all the time. And sometimes we have to open up our hearts and our minds, and we have to do what God is saying do. We have to go where God is saying go. We have to be bound to people that God is saying, I need you bound to that person, because I'm going to take you and that person where y'all need to be together. So don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. All right. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm glad this was a little short and sweet today. Keep tuning in to me. And again, my book is called Singleness is Not a Bad. Putting my disclaimer out there, y'all. I'm not doing this because I want to be single. I'm doing this for the single people who want to be married. Okay? I'm not doing this because I want to be single. I'm doing it for the single people who want to be married. So I'm changing the way that you look at yourself. I'm changing the way that you look at your life. I'm changing the perspective about you, so that person that you're looking for can find you, because you've made yourself a better person. All right. So, again, singleness is not a bad thing. Pre-orders is coming up. As I am so excited, and I want you guys to just tune in to me. We have women's conferences coming up in June, in LA. We have Denver. We have North Carolina, and we have Miami. And again, if you guys want to have our faith and relationship conference, it's me and Pastor TJ, and Pastor TJ is out of Denver, Colorado, and powerful, powerful speaker. So have us come on out to you and just be a blessing to you in your city, in your church, in your women's, ministry. We will be holding women's conferences across the world, across the nation. So come and check us out. We're going to be doing book signings and book releases, and all of that good stuff. So y'all tune in. Her book is called Faith Walk. And it's by Pastor TJ, and my book is called Singleness is Not a Bad Thing, and I am Prophetess Stephanie Carew. All right, you can check me out on my website, which is stephaniecarew.com. You can also check me out on my social media pages, and my social media pages are, all of them are Stephanie Carew. All right, it is going to be Instagram, it is going to be Facebook, and it is going to be YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Stephanie Carew Simple Truths. I also have Facebook Simple Truths, and I also just am on Instagram as Stephanie Carew. All right. So go ahead and check me out. I hope